Welcome to The Profile. My name is Gary Dunn and I'm your host. And in Perth, we look at all of the great musicians we've had around for years. And tonight, none other than Marie Klaassen. I hope I've pronounced that properly.
Klaassen, actually.
Oh, Klaassen. It's got class, hasn't it?
Yes, a little bit.
You're sitting on the couch, or I like to say it's a chair.
It's a very comfortable one.
Is it? Cool.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
How's your day today?
Fantastic, great.
Great.
Bit of a trip down, lovely weather.
Yeah, fantastic. Look, I'll start with where were you born?
At home.
At home. Where was that?
In Holland.
In Holland, wow. Klaassen.
Yeah, oh, you've just tweaked.
Yes.
No, it actually, we do have births. We had births at home, basically, there. So, I was born at home. I came to Australia when I was 9.
Yep. And so what was the moment for you? Was it before you came to Australia where you...
Absolutely.
Thought,
No. I sort of always wanted to... I can remember singing with Mum in the kitchen when I was doing the dishes.
Yes.
It was always happening. But I remember looking at a Shirley Bassey. I must have been about 7 or something. I remember looking at Shirley Bassey with this amazing sparkly gown on, and I thought, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Right. But my father also was a musician. He played guitar, he played piano, accordion, and he played mouth organ.
So
he was performing. Yeah.
Inspiration.
Yeah, and
for
my
you.
mum's sister sang in a band, so that was already there anyway. So that's all I wanted to do. All I wanted to do was sing until we hopped on the KLM plane out to Australia, and then I liked the idea of being an air hostess.
Yep.
But that didn't last very long.
Okay.
So I came back and just, started singing. I sang everywhere, even at school, all the school concerts and talent quests.
Yep. Always
got in them.
So which school did you go to?
The first one I went to was, you will love this, Cabramatta High.
Okay. In Sydney?
It was a completely different place, Cabramatta, then, to what it is today.
Yes.
I was singing then.
Yeah, cool.
And then come first and formed a duo with the 2 Italian boys that came second.
Yep.
So I ended up learning the song Mama in Italian.
Wow.
To play at the Italian club with these boys.
You can speak Dutch, obviously. And,
I still speak Dutch.
Italian, English.
Well, not Italian, not now. No. That one song, and I probably remember the first line now. Years have gone by.
Can you remember the line?
Yeah, it was Mamma san tanto felice perché perdono na te.
Wow.
I think I got that right.
What does that mean?
Don't know.
Okay.
I don't quite know. But whenever I say that, if you sing it to an Italian man, they actually start crying.
Oh. So maybe
I'm hoping it's good.
You've got a small thing or something that sort of means. That's why they start crying.
Men, European men are very, especially Italian men, are very, very close to their families and their mums. And yeah, it's good.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started in Kalgoorlie in 1970, age 15. Band was called Wild Honey.
Yes, it was 4 girls.
Oh, wow.
A drummer and an organ player.
Wow.
That was it.
Yep.
With 2 girls up front singing. We were singing like, I can't even remember most of those songs, but we had these hot pants with a lacy top and these wicket boots. I got a photo of it somewhere at home. It's really funny.
Yeah.
But we were getting jobs and and then I went to Karma, which was probably the first professional band I ever joined.
Yep.
And that was regular. That was working every weekend. The Foundry, the Tower, Sylvester's.
Yep.
Every weekend.
That was a nightclub, Sylvester's, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were the only band that was playing there. Now Kalgoorlie had good bands.
Yeah.
So I sort of travelled in and out of Kalgoorlie most of the time. Like even when I then went to Perth, I'd always, because my family was there. My mum and dad and my 4 brothers and sisters were there. So, and I was the oldest. So I always came back home.
So 72, you moved to Perth to start a career here, and
yes, I moved to Perth, and actually there was a band that travelled through with Joe Tattersall on drums, Eddie Pogorni on bass, and Tony Summers, who used to be with Masters Apprentices.
Wow, there's some names.
Yeah, and like I was not even 7, I was nearly 17.
Yeah.
And they sort of said, I really like you, come and join us, we'll go to Perth. And like I thought, I'd only be in the country, and I thought, I'd love to go.
Yeah.
So I ended up going, and we got to Perth and played a couple of gigs, but couple of these guys, or one of them really, was sort of a little bit over the edge. You know, I was very straight. I didn't drink or smoke.
Yep.
And
I was like that.
Didn't turn out very well, and I sort of ended up. This is where I met Pekovic, because Pekovic actually was with a Statesman, and he was living with Jeff McCall, I think the guy's name was, the bass player. Yeah, in the flats next door. And there was a bit of a problem, and I went and saw John. He said, "Mate," he says, "you can sleep on the couch here till you find a spot."
Such a wonderful, generous person.
Really generous, and I was very fortunate, and I'm glad I got the opportunity to thank him for that, because he was an amazing guy.
Yeah.
Then I got in touch with the band looking for a singer, and that was Peter Kamusky.
Yep.
He also was with, I think, the Statesman.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't. Was he? Was the Statesman? Was that with Peter Nell singing? Statesman, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was with them as well at one stage. Really well known. And the Kamusky brothers, John played drums, and that was the first, band in Perth, real band in Perth.
Was that Penny Lane? Or?
Penny Lane, yeah. And we played at Zanzibar.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I mean, there was a day, times of the strippers and stuff where you had to sort of put the cassettes on for the strippers and sit down and watch the act. Yeah. It was pretty tough for a woman.
Yeah, I hated it too.
And then the cages and stuff. It was pretty, I mean, it was pretty mind-blowing. But we had a few laughs. I mean, I've seen, strippers do that turn around and fall flat on their naked bums and all sorts of things. So there's a bit of a funny side to it all, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's a bit degrading, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, you went back to Kalgoorlie after that, and original band.
That was
back in Perth.
There was some great musicians. I played with quite a few bands in Kalgoorlie. There was Chances Are, Red Eye, Bilbo Baggins band.
Can you name some of the musicians?
Yeah, Gary Steele, Randy Wilson. Alan Guppy, Brian Davidson from Focus, he was in Karma.
Yes, yeah. Wow.
Peter Kahn.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Gary Steele. A lot of these players ended up going over east, and they ended up touring with a lot of successful musicians. Yeah. They were all good musicians. So that was great. I remember seeing Jim Rossiter before I started with Acid Road. Yeah. And they were an amazing band. There was really some massive talent in that small town.
Absolutely.
And, that was so far away from Perth.
And when I interviewed Jim, he mentioned that. Definitely.
There really was. And I suppose the saddest thing I've had, the greatest thing is that the opportunity of the people that I've worked with, they've had the opportunity to work with has been the most, I feel so blessed for that. I guess I would have loved to seen everyone make it in their own, instead of struggling later on and trying to make ends meet, which is what I see a lot of now,
Yeah, we need some sort of foundation, don't we?
Absolutely.
And so you eventually got to sing with John Mayer in Air Force in '79.
That was in '79. That was fantastic. That was with Roy and Rick and
Royston McDaniel.
It was look, they're great musicians.
Absolutely.
All of us know that.
The Octopus.
Yeah, I mean they're brilliant. I mean, Rick used to do his solo on the bass on Rob's bass guitar, with his sticks and stuff. And it was good. It was really well done. Yeah. I guess the hardest thing was being the singer was the solos were like
long.
Yeah, it's long. And you just had to keep moving in between that time, But I got a funny story. Roy is, I dearly love Roy. He is just such a beautiful man. And he used to always, because he always made me laugh. Roy's the clown. Yes. He is the clown. He was so much fun to be around. He bought me a birthday present. He bought me a top, those tops that have, I can't think of the name of them now, those little tops that have no straps.
Okay, yep.
Boob tube,
they're
called.
Yep.
I was wrapped. He actually bought me a present. I wore it to the Criterion. I thought, I'm going to wear this.
Yes.
It's a nice top. And so they're doing one of these massive long solos, and I'm dancing along, and the next thing you know, I sort of got my hands together to grab the mic, and I couldn't feel any material. And I thought, oh, crap, no. And I kept singing as one hand went down.
To see if it was still there.
My God. And pull that one up. But what I couldn't get over was that No one pointed. No one went, excuse me, there's a problem. No one said anything.
Yes.
I was so embarrassed. I didn't want to get up for the next bracket. I really didn't want to get back up. I felt so terrible. But Roy bought me that top, so he still had the last joke.
Yes,
you know.
yeah. He's a bit of a prankster.
Yeah, he's great.
So in my notes here from the producer, the Casuals and
from
us
there
a
I
bit
went
about that.
completely original.
Yep.
The Casuals.
Yep.
The Casuals was with Greggy Cook.
Yep.
And Greg Cook used to be with the Christy Allen Band.
Yep.
I think Brian Peacock organised that because he was managing this particular band, and we were doing quite a few of Brian's songs. He's a great great songwriter again, and that band sort of lasted for a little while. Chook, as everyone called him, decided to go back over east.
Chook, the guitar player.
Yeah,
I remember.
You remember him?
Yeah, I definitely remember Chook. I used to go around his place and lived in Leaning somewhere, and
I don't know where he lived with his wife.
Yeah. Wow, amazing.
Yeah. And then from there, Missing Persons was a band from Melbourne, and I don't know, I forget how we came about, but there was something happening, and someone was leaving, and they sort of asked if I'd be willing to step in for a song. It was a recording of some sort, one of their songs, and I did. And then from there on, it was like, well, why don't you join the band?
Yes.
I thought, oh, okay. And that was a fantastic band.
Yes.
We worked, we rehearsed from like 9 to 5 every day.
Yeah.
You know, at home. And we had a lot of gigs. We played in a lot of places. We played at the university, regular, Mosman Park. Cottesloe Sunday Sesh was a regular.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic band. And then from there, Stevie Wright got hold of some of my music and introduced it to Vanda and Young. And then they said, well, what about bringing her over here? We'll form a band. And I sort of left with that decision. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. And that's when I spoke to, got Tony Cooper and Bob Fortescue and Steve Britton, and I said, well, look, this is the thing.
Say hi to Tony.
You guys come.
Tony watches the show.
Yeah,
so.
Okay. Oh, hi, Tony.
And we've even got an audience tonight. Audience is starting. Paul Reynolds has turned up with
I saw Paul,
pizza and scotch
Paul
and
for ages.
all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, which is good because my producer only brought Vegemite sandwiches with butter, and I don't like any of those. So.
So we got spoiled.
Yes. So
and that was great. I got put up in Stevie Wright's unit in Manly, and I was living there with two other guys. One was a script writer for Young Doctors.
Yeah.
He was a classic. He was Craig, and I'd love to find him. I've forgotten his last name. Otherwise, I probably would have found him by now. They were great. I stayed there for a while, and we had a manager by the name of Terry who sort of got us a few gigs here and there, but it wasn't really happening.
Yeah.
And I had to sort of make ends meet and ended up busking. I mean, I was busking in Perth.
You busked all over the place, didn't you? And
Busking
you always
was
have,
the
haven't
extra.
you?
Busking was the extra thing that sort of kept me going because I actually made more money busking than playing on stage.
Yeah.
And I only used to do an hour. You know, and I did. I made more money busking than being on stage, which was really weird. But I guess all the money went to the road crew.
Yes.
The PA and the lights and
Exactly right.
That all cost.
Yeah.
But busking was great, and the markets ended up paying me to actually go there, and then you still get the money on top from people. But I guess the most beautiful thing about busking, it was probably the most scariest thing I did. I used to go to the pub first. And down a MIDI quickly.
Yeah.
So I could, because you're opening up your guitar case in the middle of the street.
Yes.
It's not where you normally would perform. So you're not feeling very comfortable. So you need a little bit of Dutch courage, and even in the first couple of songs, you was always shaking.
Is that a pun? Dutch courage?
Yeah, it is a bit. So it's always shaking.
No, it does take a lot.
But the beautiful thing was people would not just throw money in, people would throw in,
compliments.
Like chocolates, flowers.
Wow.
Things that sort of was more meaningful in a sense because it was more personal.
Yes. Amazing.
So that was really nice, the busking scene. And so when I busked in Sydney, I did this one session out in the Manly Corso, and the guy from the hotel across the road came and said, "You got a gig?"
Beautiful.
So I started working there once a week or twice a
Fantastic.
week, you know, and then I got more work just from people popping in, started working across the road from Paddy's Markets and then the White Horse Hotel, and started getting all these gigs and started earning quite a lot of money. And enough for me to actually form a band. So I went and hired a bass player, hired a drummer.
What was that band called?
We didn't have a name.
Oh,
we just played. It was still going just under my name, but I hired players to perform with me because I love being in a band. I prefer to be in a band.
Yes, of course.
But you just, you know, today people can't afford to pay a band.
You joined a cappella, the Flirts.
Yeah.
And Adam Sykes, who you've seen around at some of the gigs lately, and.
Yeah, the Flirts was completely. It's, you know, it's great because it's such a wide experience. That was all vocals with 3 other males, and they're fantastic vocals. Adam Sykes is one of them, and Adam's still a great friend of mine today. We played all the black ties. You know, we saw, like, you know, you're going in your $50 dress, which you thought was very expensive.
Yes.
To these shows where people are gowned up in, you know, $2,000 gowns, and you're like, oh my God, and you're supposed to stand out because you're the performer. I didn't get that silky gown, that sparkly gown that Shirley Bassey was wearing when I saw her on TV.
I'm pretty sure you stood out.
Eh?
I'm pretty sure you stood out. Anyway.
Oh well, we went well. We went really well, and then Max Gay offered us a job at his restaurant, and there's 2 reasons. I didn't think I could do it vocally. 7 nights a week or 5 nights a week, whatever it was. I think it would be too much because I actually suffered from nodules twice.
All right.
I had it twice. I've had an operation twice, which is, you know, sort of, it's tough, and I don't want to go through that again. So you get more, you know, worried about your vocals if you're singing too many nights.
Sure.
And and from there, a cappella. Yeah, from there, I sang on a cruiser for a 6-week trip, which was pretty good too. That was another experience. I only had to work half an hour, an entire week. Got paid for it, and
one extreme to the other.
And went to all these places. You know, travelled to India and Malaysia and Maldives, and was amazing. This was another good thing.
So, what was your earliest influence in music? Who influenced you think, the most, and who is still influenced?
You know, people always say, "What's your favourite music?" And I say, "I haven't got any."
Okay, I'll scrub that question.
I haven't, but I really love Bobby Bland.
Yep.
I love Maggie Bell, Kathy McDonald. They're my 3 main ones. And it's funny because when I met Barnsey, we were playing at Hernando's with the Casuals.
All right.
And we're playing at Hernando's. What was that guy's name that ran Hernando's? Do you remember him?
Yes, I do.
Greek guy. Was a Greek guy.
Yeah. Anyone? No, I don't.
I can't remember his name. But anyway, between a break, he said, "Look, I've got someone in the office who wants to meet you." So I went, "Oh, yeah." I went to the office, and there was Jimmy Barnes. And Jimmy says, "Can I get my sing with you?" I said, "Sure." "Yeah, what do you want to do?" He said, "Let's do Lucille." I went, "Okay, Lucille, yeah, right." And he came up on stage with a glass of water, gave it to me, and said, "There's yours." I said, "Oh, thanks, mate. Awesome."
I know what it
And
was.
I'd been complaining about the fallback for most of the night because I couldn't hear myself. So I did the first verse, and he did the second, and when he did the second, the fallback just went, and I went, "My God, they're working." It's, you know, but I grabbed the drink, took a mouthful of what I thought was water, and it was straight vodka.
Yes, I know.
But anyway, Jimmy and I we got to know each other, and we actually used to catch up whenever he used to come to Perth.
Excellent.
And lovely man, and you know, he's got used to, you know, talk about his wife and you know, where she came from and all the family and stuff, and incredible guy. And he was the only person I've ever met that actually listened to the same vocalists as I did. He listened to the same ones.
Wow.
Yeah. And I thought, wow, because no one else that I ever spoke to had heard of these 3 people.
Yeah. Well, I certainly haven't.
No.
So, you know, apologise.
No, yeah, that's fine. But when you do, you'll think, "Oh, this is pretty good, actually."
Yeah. So I normally ask what other jobs throughout your life, but I presume it's...
Lots.
Yeah?
Lots.
Please, tell us.
Lots. I've done barmaiding, housemaiding, worked in an ice cream shop, gourmet shop, law office, real estate, did real estate,
Wow.
had a garden centre. But the best thing I did was I opened up a fashion shop.
Yep.
And that was really good.
Where was that?
In Boulder.
Yep.
When everybody said, you got rocks in your head. Who's going to open up a shop in Boulder? I said, me. I'm
Rocks,
going to do something
Boulder.
different. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, yeah.
I just love
So what
that.
I did, I actually got a mini miner,
Yes.
sorted in half, right? And I built that into a counter. So there's a car inside the...
How long did it take you? A hacksaw?
No, I got someone else to do it for me.
Okay.
But it was great.
Yeah.
And had $4,000 saved up, and I bought all this stuff, and in 5 days it had all sold out, and I thought, what do I do now? And I had to race to Perth and get new gear.
Wow.
And that's how I learned all about business.
Wow.
It was that, you know, that
Yes.
whole thing. I mean, you learn a lot through being in bands,
Yeah.
but this was great.
And you've done a lot, haven't you?
Yeah, I did a hell of a lot. But that was a passion.
Yeah.
And it was good too because I like really way out gear, like Ruth Tarvidas.
Yes.
I've been wearing her clothes since I was 18.
Wow.
She was the pioneer of women's clothing.
Yes.
And I wish she had been recognised a lot more because she's an amazing lady. And her costumes, her clothes are just divine. They are a woman's outfit, really.
The only connection I had with Ruth was her brother was a doctor.
I never met a brother.
I went to see him a few times.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So,
I didn't know him.
no.
No, but Ruth I got to know more as I got older, you know,
Yeah.
I guess. You know, before she died, I'd
Yes.
actually seen her a couple of times, but no one would have known that, you know, she was not well, I guess. But, yeah, I still have her gear. I still have some of her clothes from 40 years ago.
Wow. So if you were stranded on a deserted island,
Yeah.
what album would you take with you to listen to, if that's the only thing you could do?
I don't think I'd take an album. I think I would probably collect all these little shells and bits and pieces that I could find on the island and actually turn them into instruments and start writing songs.
Well, that's the most original answer I've had to that question.
Is it?
Yeah, and I ask that one every time. So.
Yeah, I think that's what I do. That's probably the creative side of me because I'm also an artist now.
Yeah.
So I do painting and I also do ceramics.
So I was talking to your husband earlier. You're living in Yellingup.
Yeah.
You're living the life
Yeah.
that I'd love to live. It's,
Had two children.
Yes, a
Who
boy and
were-
a girl.
Boy and a girl, and they're just fantastic.
Great.
They're one's in Perth in real estate.
Yep.
Of all things. I wasn't in it for long. He's good. He's actually very good. And he's only 23 nearly.
What's his name?
Matthew.
Yep.
Hi, Matt. And
Hi, Matt.
and
Keep selling those
my
houses.
daughter Alicia, she works overseas as a tour guide.
Wow, great.
And she's 26, just turned 26.
And it must be just fantastic living where you're living.
We love it.
Yeah.
Good people, but it's good people all over the world. Hey, I
Yes.
mean, but I think I've been really blessed with the caliber of people I've worked with, and there's been some jerks, and they know who they are, don't they? I won't mention anyone's names. I promise. When you work with all men all
Yes.
your life, you become one of the boys in a sense, and
So-
you know when to keep your mouth shut.
Okay, well, what's it like being a female in the music industry? That's
Probably ties all that in, doesn't it? That's
Is it a
you
frustrating
you get some good
experience?
blokes, you get some horrible guys.
Yeah.
I was bullied much in my younger days.
yeah,
When you don't know anything, I was very green. I was brought up because I'm European, very strict.
yes,
So I didn't have any knowledge of what the outside world was like, especially when you go and perform in hotels. I mean, I had to have a special license. Brian Davidson was actually my guardian. He had to have me home by a certain time, everything, because I was 16 when I started singing with those guys.
wow. And so, talk about Brian Davidson, management that you would have had throughout your career.
Management
What,
varied a bit, I think the worst one I ever had, I'm not even going to mention any names. He's not alive anymore anyway, but I'm not going to mention any names. Was a guy that took the band Free Spirit on. That was in 1972, I think it was. And then we were featured on This Day Tonight on the ABC. They did a thing on the band, and more so I was 18 at the time. And this guy, that we were kicked out of our flat, the guitarist and the roadie and myself, and because they didn't want the truck parked in the parking, and I was at the booking agent, and I said, look, we're being kicked out, and I'm going to have to find a place to stay. And this manager said, well, look, he says, I'll tell you what, I've got a room, and he said, and you can clean the house in exchange. And I thought, wow, that's awesome, great. But when I moved in, he sort of kept me up quite a bit late at night, and I started getting a little bit sort of, my gut feeling wasn't very good. And I thought, and so one night I said to the keyboard player, look, can I stay with you and your missus, I feel a bit funny. And he said, yeah, okay. So I didn't go home, and I went home, and he was strange. And then because he was strange, I thought, oh, I must be right.
Yes.
And so the next night I was more scared, petrified to go home. So I stayed out again. And then I came in, and he wasn't there, but there was a note, pack your stuff, you're out.
You're out.
And I thought, whew.
Yeah.
I was relieved, actually. But it gets worse than that. We roll up at the Waldorf for our next gig, and they opened the door and said, what are you guys doing here? They're saying, we're playing. No, you're not. Your manager called and said, you guys he's canning. You've moved to Sydney. Canned all our gigs.
Fantastic.
All of them. And that broke the band up.
Yes. Oh.
So that was probably the worst management. Then I remember, I'm not going to mention any names here either, we were doing quite well, the band, and this is another band doing quite well, and I decided we were getting our own gigs, sort of. And I said, well, look, I'm going to tell this guy that we're going to do, if we're getting our own, we'll tell him which nights we're working on our own, of our own back, and then the nights we're not working, if he's got gigs for us, we'll go through him.
Yes.
Well, I had the man slam the fist on the table, and he said, you reckon you get away with that? You do that, and you won't be working anywhere.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. So you do have that, but like Rick said, I think agents are a good thing because pubs can't really. I reckon they would end up being double booked. I don't think it'd be because they got too much on their plate, and I also think it's like life insurance.
Yes.
If you don't have life insurance, you got nothing when you die. But if you get booked at a gig and someone screws up, the agent's still liable for your fees.
Well, Rick told me a different story off air. So
Did he? Okay.
You mentioned before the ABC.
Yeah.
Was, you went into kids' songs production, the Humdingers.
The Humdingers, that was, a totally different thing again. Yeah. That was after I'd worked with Martin Jenner before that.
Yes.
And Martin Jenner was...
Cliff Richards.
Martin Jenner was probably the most amazing musician I've ever worked with. He could do anything with that guitar. I could sing anything, and with him hearing it once, he would just rattle it off, and it was, I still pinch myself to have known to know that I've actually worked with this guy.
Just a wonderful guitar
amazing
player
guitarist.
And a human being as well.
Yeah. There was also another amazing musician that I worked with, Skews, Dave Skews, keyboard player.
Yep.
Another one, and we used to fly him to Kalgoorlie so that we play together every weekend.
Fantastic.
So that was Dave's now in Melbourne, and then
you got so many names.
Because it was. I worked with so many people, and I'm really pleased about that because working with those people and having that much so many different experiences in so many different music genres, I suppose. Gives you, it just makes you grow, you get more wisdom, you get more knowledge, you get more everything from it, and you get more feeling from it, I guess the only thing I really miss today is not working in a band. Yes. Because my main thing I worked off, my energy, belonged to that rhythm section.
You're in a
good
duo.
drummer, good bass player, I'm on fire.
Yes.
It's very hard to feel that same thing in a duo, But so after Martin...
we're all in the same boat, Marie. So.
Yeah, after Martin, I decided to, because I had the young children, and was very maternal, I guess, decided I'd go and write some children's songs. Yeah. And I had all these dreams, I had all these characters. So I had all these characters, all Australian characters, except for the moth. He was multicultural, really. He was Mexican. He was a Mexican moth. There was Bluey the bobtail. Yeah. There was Candy the caterpillar, and Fifi la Frill, who was a frill-necked lizard, but she came from France.
Oh, it sounds very exquisite.
So so I wrote all these songs with Rob Spence, Now, Rob Spencer's another really great friend of mine, another
And
amazing
a great
musician.
guitar player. Yes.
Yeah, another
Yeah.
fantastic
I
musician.
haven't seen him for years, Rob.
Rob's teaching at Scotch.
Is he?
Yeah,
Wow.
and we
Hello,
catch
Rob.
up. Yeah, and he's actually doing a thing with Johnny Young.
Yep.
At the moment.
We're trying to get Johnny Young on the show. I think
Oh,
my producer
okay.
called him
Yeah,
20 times in the last week. So, Johnny, if you're watching out there, we're trying to...
He should come on here, yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is all part of WA.
Yeah, just hearing everyone's journey and stories is just amazing.
I think it's great that ProCopy and you guys have actually organised this because, you know, we all need to support one another.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the most beautiful thing. We support each other emotionally, but we need to support each other in more than that way.
It blows me away because the people in the room, Mark, you know, Phil, Strawny and you know, Al.
I mean, all the time everyone's putting in, it's fantastic.
They don't get paid for it. They just... They want to get the community together, and it's just the right reason. We're documenting all this stuff, and it's really.
And there are so many people out there that need to be recognised because everyone contributed so much to the WA music industry. You know,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, we've got this guitar that we're going to auction off on telethon. So talking about kids, would you like to sign the back in white or the front in black? Where do you sit on this guitar? I have 2 pens.
I'm gonna sit on the front
because
you know what, I'm gonna get rubbed up by somebody's buckle.
There you go. That's exactly what I thought. That's why I went on the front. Yeah. And just to mention ProCopy, they do these great things, Pub Legends of Perth, and you can get them at ProCopy for $20. www.procopy.com.au if you want to go online, and all proceeds go to Pico and the fund. We're going to see if we can start some sort of fund for what we were talking about before, for musicians that do fall on hard times.
That's really great.
So we'll see what we can get going on there and see if we can help further. So,
we'll maybe have some concerts and things where you raise that sort of money.
So moving sideways, what was your favourite TV show growing up?
I just love comedy, you know. I'm a Jerry Lewis fan.
Yeah.
I love laughing. Yeah. I think everyone should have a laugh every day.
Yes, perfect.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
I love it. Jerry Lewis. I used to love... I didn't like things like Lassie because those little movies used to make me cry.
Yes.
You know? They still do probably if I watched one.
Well, my grandkids, I watched the Good Dinosaur with them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's great.
Oh, you know, and my wife and I would just sit there crying every time. I watched it 20 times, I cried 20 times. It's like,
E.T. makes me cry.
Yes,
that's... I suppose, there's not many, just anything that's funny.
So what does the future hold for you, Marie?
Well, at the moment, I'm still singing.
Yes.
I sing in a duo called Cape Sun in the southwest, and really, you know, I thought, I was really concerned going back in because I thought no one's going to employ someone this age, you know.
No.
And fortunately, some people thought, we'll give these guys a shot, you know, and they gave us a shot. And
fantastic.
Yeah, Bob was originally a bass player.
Yeah.
We couldn't get a band. And he said, well, look, I'm willing to learn guitar. And I said, I don't know how that's going to work. It's going to take a long time. He said, no. You want to hear this guy play.
He's great, yeah.
Can't believe he's done all this, you know. Wow. And he's, he's right into it, and he's amazing. He's really, I can't believe that, you know, and I'm actually taking guitar lessons now.
Cool.
Because I was never a guitarist. I play guitar in some of the duo, but...
I'm going to get some guitar lessons
I did guitar just to write songs.
Yeah.
Just like, I forget, one of the other guys that was on your show mentioned, just wrote, Greenie.
Oh, yeah.
Greenie said he just used the guitar to write songs. I was the same.
Yeah.
But, you know, so my strumming was always, every song sounds country.
And he was busking similar to you, and he learnt 3 chords. Someone showed him 3 chords and did that.
So I'm getting a rhythm together. So, Cape Sun, and we're playing mostly at Cave's house.
Fantastic.
Cave's house, a great venue, and Stilts.
Giving them a plug.
Yeah, giving them a plug.
Yeah. What nights is it usually?
We're playing there at least once a month at Cave's house, and it varies between Saturday and Sunday. But we've got a Facebook page and a website.
Excellent.
Called Cape Sun.
Cape Sun.
Yep.
Give yourself a plug.
It's CAPESUN. .com.au.
Yes. Okay, we'll go and have a look.
Yeah.
Do you collect anything?
Do I collect anything? Do I collect anything, Dave?
A lot of old LPs.
LPs?
A lot of
I've got
vinyl?
LPs.
Cool.
Yeah. Somehow, I've kept all my musical stuff, you know, like I've got boxes of
Same.
leads.
Yes.
Leads. Why am I keeping
different
leads?
picks
I keep thinking I must be going to run out of
and
these
springs.
things. Everyone's laughing. I think everybody's got one of those
knobs,
boxes.
knobs, and all sorts of different things. You know,
Yeah.
different pickups. And
Yeah.
my wife keeps saying, you know, it's just
And
everything in
of
there.
course, I've kept all of Ruth Tarvita's clothing.
Cool, excellent.
I have never.
So you collect
Yeah.
that, yes.
Yeah.
So what would you put on your gravestone?
My gravestone. I'm not going to have one.
Okay, that's another original
Because
answer.
I'm not going to have one because I've decided to be cremated,
Yeah. Okay.
and my ashes can be shared between the family if they want.
Excellent.
So I can be broken into bits. Or, yeah, not really fussed about that.
Okay, that's a good answer.
But no gravestone, no.
So is there anybody you would recommend for us to have on the show?
Yes, more girls.
More girls?
Yes.
I've been told we're a bit of a sausage
I reckon
fest.
get hold of Pauline and Joy from Crumpet. I can get hold of them actually.
Pauline and Joy.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'd love to see that. Both at the same time would be really, really good.
Excellent. We'll
'Cause
try and do that.
And Joy
Get
is so
that out.
funny.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you get that? It's nothing
Yeah.
like a bit of... Yes, I remember Crumpet, yes. Don't start.
And hopefully Deirdre from Helicopters.
Oh, Deirdre from Helicopters, definitely.
I'd love to see. Yeah,
We've got,
you know.
I've got to say, we do cop a bit of flack for being a bit of a sausage fest, but look, we've got over 300 names. We're trying to get through everyone as quickly as we can.
But it's got to be a balance.
Well, we've got 2 girls on tonight, so, you know.
Out of how many boys have you done so far? 25?
Oh, look,
Is it 25?
I think it's episode 27 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, please don't make me talk about this.
Oh, no.
It's not my decision. I'm going to handball it.
Where's
'cause
that producer?
I just, look,
Right.
Alan and I get on, like, you know, we're a great team as long as I do what he says, and so I just
Yeah,
go
yeah,
along with
that's
what
all
he
right,
says.
Gary.
Okay. So, look, last question.
Last question.
Thank
but
you
at
so
least.
much. So many names. You've connected so many things for us. But is there something we don't know about you that you'd like to share with us?
Something you don't know.
Yeah, nobody knows. Well, anything you can think of, and you don't have to answer
Yeah, I
that
don't
question.
know. I don't think there's anything. I'm the same. I've always been the same person.
Yeah,
I'm always honest.
yeah,
I'm outright, forthright,
yes.
black and white.
That's my football team, black and white.
Is it?
Newcastle, yeah. Newcastle United.
Newcastle.
From England, yeah.
Oh wow, you follow soccer.
Yeah, well, it's football.
Yeah.
But
Football's AFL to me.
yeah, oh yeah, West Coast Eagles in football.
That's going good.
Yes, so far.
I'm actually a Dockers fan.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. End of the interview, thank you. Well, thank you for joining. No. You'd be frustrated like me as a Newcastle fan because we haven't won anything in my lifetime, and neither of you guys. So,
But the day will come.
well,
Everyone has a turn, you know. History repeats. You know,
Yeah.
everything goes around. The wheel goes up and it goes down.
sometimes
We have good times and we have bad moments. don't we?
sometimes it ends up with nothing. So
What ends up with nothing? The
no,
wheel.
no premierships.
Oh, premiership. Keep going, Ben. That was good.
That's all right.
That was really good.
Oh, okay. Look, really appreciate you coming in to see us, and we really enjoyed having you on the show. We're going to have
I
more.
really want to thank you guys for inviting me. I think it's
Yeah.
really nice of you.
Yeah.
Really, really nice.
Well, we're trying to balance that ledger, as you say.
Yeah,
so,
but I think Pauline and Joy would be real good fun. Real good fun.
yeah, there's nothing like a bit of crumpet, they
Yeah.
say. So,
Got to have a bit of crumpet.
yes, absolutely. And look, thank you for sharing your stories with us.
Yeah.
It's been really
And I
nice.
sincerely hope I haven't missed anybody out. That's the only thing I was worried about.
You probably
But
have.
everyone
but,
I've worked with has been just, you
Yeah.
know, fantastic. I probably have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Thank
Look,
you.
what a great lady. Look, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thank you very much.
I said, bless my soul, what's wrong with me?
For a medium-sized city, Perth manages to have a livelier nightlife than many places twice its size. Just about every night of the week, a score of nightclubs and hotels with late licences pulsate to the frenetic rhythms of local rock bands. But Marie has already had 2 years of experience in the hard world of professional rock music.
Well, I always want to be in a band. I don't think I'll ever want to go solo. That's what I feel now. But, like, you know, every musician wants to make it. But I really think I just like to keep on singing, and, well, I wouldn't like to settle down until I'm through with it, because I couldn't anyway. Well, at one time we were earning, when this group first started, we were getting $30 each, which left me with about $8 to spend, so I wouldn't say I was doing it for the money, because as long as I've got enough to pay my rent, I'm happy, you know, as long as I'm singing. One week you could be starving and, you know, living off $20, and next week you could make 100, so it all depends on how much work you get and, you know, how many people want to book you and appreciate what you're doing.
What happens when you make big money in 1 week? What do you feel then?
Oh, I feel really good, you know, go to town, have a big spend up, spend it while you can.
When you're feeling happy, you shine like the sun.
Radiate your loving out to everyone.
Imagine everybody shining that way. The whole world will be smiling, there'd be no sad day.
You can feel it in your soul, you can feel it in your heart. If you don't, it's easy, this is how you start. Wake up in the morning, smile and greet the day. Give someone a hug and then you're on your way. Love, love, love is what we bring. Love, love, love makes you want to sing. Love, 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 hold on to it tight. Love, 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 loving you is right.
Nothing changes. I'm in a hurry anyway. Feel the endlessness with the coming of the light of day. We're talking about a chosen place. You wouldn't sell it in a marketplace. Well, just a minute now. Standing on solid ground, standing on sacred ground, living on borrowed time, and the winds of change, going down the line. Right down the line. I believe it echoes, way from these sexy things, sexy things. make you